Marshall 27-4 as they enter the ball game, winners of 16 of their last 19. As the 1-2 pitch, this ball is hit to the third baseman. Nice play and a flip across the diamond for the first out of the inning. That was a nice play by the third baseman Harris on the play. So 1 up and 1 down here in the top of the first inning.
Peyton Tucker.
And it'll be Peyton Tucker, the left fielder for John Marshall, will be the hitter. John Marshall won state championships in 1998 and 2012 for Cabell Midland. They've had quite a run. They've won state titles in 95, 97, 99, 2000, 2005, and their most recent title in 2021. So 1 out, nobody aboard. Ball 1, the count to Peyton Tucker, the John Marshall left fielder. It's a double elimination tournament, 4 teams. Of course, the second game, which obviously will follow this one, 30 minutes at the conclusion of this one, will be, as this pitch is high for ball 2, which will be George Washington and Jefferson. So we've got beautiful weather, gorgeous weather here this morning here in South Charleston, West Virginia. Here comes the 2-0 delivery, and that'll be a called strike. So the count goes to 2-1. Tucker the hitter with 1 out, nobody on, and Blake on deck. And the delivery. This ball is slapped foul down the third baseline. The count will even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Glad you're with us here this morning on video production. Great weather here in South Charleston this morning for the first game of this Class AAA Girls 2023 State Tournament. The 2-2 pitch swung on right back up the middle. That's a base hit and a 1-out hit for John Marshall as Tucker delivers a solid single right back up the middle. So with 1 out and a runner on, Ava Blake will now be the hitter. Blake will hit from the right-hand side of the plate. The Monarchs of John Marshall, 27-4, Cabell Midland 21-5. Outside for ball 1. Want to know the count to Blake as Pettit waits to hit next. And the pitch. Nice, strong cut and swing, but a miss, and the count now will even at 1 ball and 1 strike. So Blake digs in on the right-hand side of the plate. And here's the 1-1 offering. And the runner attempts for the steal, and she's safe. So a stolen base by Tucker, and now John Marshall has a runner in scoring position with 1 out. A good jump that time by Tucker. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Tucker steals second base. 1-2 the count to the hitter Blake. And here comes the 1-2 offering. And this ball is hit in the air toward right field. The right fielder coming over will make the catch. The runner will tag. Here's the throw to third, and there won't be a throw. It'll be cut off. So a productive out by Blake as she moves the runner on. It's a sacrifice to right field. And that's the second out of the inning. And Pettit will now be the hitter. So Pettit will now be the hitter for John Marshall with a runner at third and 2 down here in the top half of inning number 1. So Watts is ready on the mound, and here's the pitch. And a big cut and a miss. 0-1 the count to Pettit. Pettit can keep the inning alive. Kaiser would be next. And the 0-1 on its way. Swung on this ball as a little pop-up. The shortstop comes over, makes the catch to end the inning. A hit, a runner left, in the middle of the first inning. It is John Marshall nothing. Cabell Midland coming to bat. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament here on Video Productions. South Charleston, West Virginia. I'm Maris Lowry as we're here for the 2023 Girls State High School Softball Tournament. Sydney Mayo producing and directing here this morning. As we get you set for the bottom half of the first inning, it's Cabell Midland up to bat. John Marshall had stranded a runner. They got one hit, and they left a runner at third. So no score as Cabell Midland comes to hit, and it'll be Purdue, Conrad, and Wallace, the top three hitters. The bottom of the first inning, the top three hitters for Cabell Midland. Cabell Midland 21-5 on the year. Pettit on the mound for John Marshall. And Purdue steps in, and ball one is the first pitcher in the bottom of the first inning. Purdue hits there from the left-hand side of the plate. And here comes the 1-0 offering. That'll be ball two. Beautiful morning here in South Charleston, West Virginia. Couldn't ask for better weather here in late May for this 2023 Girls High School Softball Tournament. Trying to lay down a bunt, and that'll be foul. Purdue trying to get a bunt for a hit. Fouls it off to the left. And the count will go to 2 balls and a strike. Purdue, Conrad, and Wallace, the top three hitters for Cabell Midland here in the home half of inning number 1. And the 2-1 offering is swung on and missed. The count evens at 2-2. Cabell Midland won a state championship 2 years ago, one of the 6 that they've won, going back to 1995, their first championship. And ready for the 2-2. Swung on, ball hit right to the third baseman. Nice play. She had her play perfect. The throw across the diamond for the out. Yeah, Yoho had her played correctly, and the ball hit right to the third baseman and across the diamond for the first out of the bottom of the first inning. So Conrad will now be the hitter, and she'll bat with 1 out and nobody aboard. Pettit gets set. Checks her wristband for the pitch she wants to throw Conrad. And it's over for a called strike. And here comes the 0-1 delivery. This ball is hit right to the second baseman. Just a little underhand toss to the first baseman for the out. That's a good job by White. As she's able to record the out with a little underhand toss to Cumberledge, and that's 2 up and 2 down. So Wallace will now be the hitter. And she'll hit with 2 out, nobody aboard here in the bottom of the first inning. Wallace, the Cabell Midland center fielder. And the pitch. And that's over for a called strike. 0-1 the count. Wallace out of the batter's box, now steps back in, and the 0-1 delivery. And that's right across the plate. 0-2 the count. So right now Wallace in the hole, 0-2. She can keep it up the inning alive. And Bell would hit next. Pettit's ready. And set to deliver the 0-2. And this ball swung on. It's hit down right to the first baseman. Cumberledge goes to the bag, unassisted, 3 up, 3 down. After 1 in this Girls State Softball Tournament, no score between Cabell Midland and John Marshall. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls High School Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
Hey, I'm Heather, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is getting the perfect bite. It's probably not the first bite, it's the second or the third, with the juicy chicken and the delicious pickle. The bite with the pickle is it. I mean, that is like the magic combination.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is the combination of the warm, soft bun against this delicious piece of chicken. The bun is just this soft little hug around the chicken that's so perfect in every bite.
So it'll be Kaiser to lead things off for John Marshall in the top half of the second inning. No score between John Marshall and Cabell Midland. So Kaiser awaits the first pitch, and it's swung on and missed 0-1. It'll be Kaiser, Ward, and Yoho, the scheduled three hitters due up here in the top of the second inning for John Marshall. Swung on and missed. And right now Kaiser in the hole at 0-2. Watts looks at her wrist. See what pitch that she wants to throw here. Ahead in the count at 0-2. And here comes the 0-2 delivery. And that's strike three. So that's good morning, good afternoon, good night. Three pitches. And Kaiser is the first strikeout victim of the ball game.
Number 23, Reese Ward.
So Reese Ward, the center fielder, will now be the hitter. And she'll hit with one out and nobody aboard here in the top of the second inning. No score between John Marshall and Cabell Midland. Class AAA Girls State Softball Tournament. Ball one. So it'll be 1-0 the count to Ward with Yoho on deck. Watts is ready, the pitcher for Cabell Midland. And the delivery. Swung on and missed. The count evens at 1-1. So 1-1 the count to Reese Ward. And here comes the 1-1 delivery. And that's a little high, 2-1. Two balls and one strike. The count to Ward. Jefferson and George Washington are the other two semifinalists as this next pitch is swung on and missed for strike two. Count evens at 2-2. So it'll be Jefferson, the defending champion, against George Washington in the other semifinal. It's a double elimination tournament today and tomorrow here at Little Creek Park, the Rock as they call it here in South Charleston. And there's the second strikeout of the inning. So 2 up and 2 down by the strikeout route. And that will bring Carly Yoho to the dish. Yoho will hit with 2 outs and no one aboard. Yoho hits from the right-hand side of the plate, and the first pitch to her swung on and missed 0-1. And here comes the 0-1 delivery. This is swung on. This ball is skied, but playable in the infield. The second baseman for Cabell Midland, held up under it, makes the catch to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down, middle of the second. No score between John Marshall and Cabell Midland. You're watching live streaming coverage of the Girls State Softball Tournament here on Video Productions.
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right.
Recover.
Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Chocolate milk, the official beverage of high school sports, is brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast.
And we welcome you back to South Charleston. Bottom half of second inning as Cabell Midland comes to the plate. And it'll be Bell, Tatum, and Hale. And Bell will take a called strike. So 0-1 the count to Bell. And here comes the 0-1 delivery. This ball is fouled back, and the count is 0-2. Doctors Joey Atkins and Malika Gunner at the Elk Family Dentistry are a proud supporter of the 2023 West Virginia High School Softball Championships. The Elk Family Dentistry specializes in family and cosmetic dentistry. So make your appointment today by calling 304-965-6661. And as I was talking, strike three on Bell. So 1 up and 1 down for Cabell Midland here in the second inning, and Tatum will now be the hitter. Elk Family Dentistry, changing lives one smile at a time. Once again, that phone number, 304, is 965-6661. So 1 out, nobody aboard, home half of the second inning, and Tatum now the hitter. And the pitch, swung on and fouled back, count goes 0-1. So Tatum backs out of the box for a minute. And now she'll dig in here and hit from the right-hand side of the plate. She's in the hole at 0-1. And the 0-1 delivery. And that's swung on and fouled back. So now Tatum in the hole at 0-2. As Hale waits on deck for Cabell Midland. Pettit is ready. And she's set to deliver the 0-2 pitch. And this is swung on and missed, strike three. So back-to-back strikeouts here in the Cabell Midland second inning, and 2 out, nobody aboard. And once again, that will bring up Hale. Destiny Hale will now be the hitter for Cabell Midland.
Batting number 3, Destiny Hale.
I'm glad you're with us here this morning on Video Productions, streaming live wherever you might be. So 2 out, nobody aboard. Hale the batter and the pitch. And that's a little low for ball 1. And here comes the 1-0 offering. And that's a called strike, and the count evens at 1-1. So ball a strike to Hale. 2 out, nobody on. Bottom of the second, no score. The first semifinal in Class AAA. And this pitch is swung on and missed, and the count goes to 1-2. So Pettit just a pitch away. I'm striking out the side. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. And the count evens at 2-2. Pettit checks her wristband and ready to deliver the 2-2. And here it comes. And that's swung on and fouled. Hale a little late on the swing, able to get a little piece of it. So the count will hold at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 2 out, nobody on. Bottom of the second inning, no score. First semifinal in Class AAA. George Washington and Jefferson will be the second game in the 2-2 pitch. And now the count's gone full, 3-2. So here comes the payoff pitch. And the 3-2 on its way. Swung on and missed, strike three. Pettit does a great job. She strikes out the side. 3 up, 3 down. After 2, no score between John Marshall and Cabell Midland. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls High School Softball Tournament here on Video Productions.
Farmers and Mechanics Insurance knows West Virginia, and we understand how much all of our high school teams and athletes mean to the communities that we have served for more than 100 years. That's why we're proud of our partnership with the West Virginia SSAC. Their commitment to teach and promote sportsmanship and citizenship is the key to future success. Protecting what matters most to you. Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies, a proud partner of the West Virginia SSAC.
9-1. Welcome back to South Charleston, going to the top of the third inning. No score. This Class AAA girls semifinal between John Marshall and Cabell Midland. So for John Marshall, it'll be the number 8, 9, and then back to the top of the order, the one-hitter, as it'll be White to lead things off for John Marshall, and she fouls the first pitch back 0-1. We've had one hit in the ball game, and that was a John Marshall hit back in the first inning. And that was by Peyton Tucker. She got a single, stole second, went to third on a fly ball, and got stranded there. And up to now, we've had a real pitcher's duel as John Marshall bats here in the third inning. This pitch is swung on and fouled back out of play, and the count is 0-2 to White. So White, the number 8 hitter, Cumber Ridge will hit next, the number 9 hitter, and then back to England at the top of the order. So 0-2 the count to White, the John Marshall second baseman. Watts on the mound ready for Cabell Midland, and here comes the 0-2 pitch, and this ball swung on and missed, strike 3, and that's the first out of the inning. So 3 of the last 4 batters for John Marshall have struck out, and Alex Cumberledge will now be the hitter. A lot of times, you know, in my experience of coming to the girls' softball tournament and 3 years in a row now, is really pitching really seems to win. Is a lot of teams win these games by only scoring maybe, 2 or 3 runs. And pitching has dominated, and that's been the case thus far, as there's a called strike to Cumberledge, the number 9 hitter for John Marshall. This ball's hit right to the third baseman. Nice job scooping it up, throwing across the diamond for the out. Harris with a good job with the scoop there at third. 2 up, 2 down. And we'll go back to the top of the order. And Mason Inkland will be the hitter. She grounded out to the third her first time up. She's 0 for 1. And she'll bat with 2 out, nobody aboard here in the top half of the third inning. So Inkland digs in the pitch, and ball 1. At the conclusion of this game, there'll be 30 minutes in between the next game, which will be defending champion Jefferson taking on George Washington. George Washington back in the Girls State Tournament for the first time since 2019. This ball swung on, hit to the left field. Coming in to make the catch is the left fielder Tatum to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down, and we are in the middle of the third. No score between John Marshall and Cabell Midland. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
You need money for college? The West Virginia National Guard is the only branch of service.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan is a proud partner with the West Virginia SSAC and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
And we welcome you back to South Charleston as we're going to the home half of the third inning. No score between John Marshall and Cabell Midland. And it'll be the bottom third of the lineup due up for Cabell Midland as Areola will lead things off. It'll be Areola, Harris, and Rose, the first 3 batters. Number 7, 8, and 9 for Cabell Midland. And there's a swing and a miss. 0-1 the count to Areola. Bottom half of the third, no score. Pettit on the mound for John Marshall. And here comes the 0-1 pitch, and this ball's fouled back. 0-2 the count to Areola. Maria Areola. Now she'll dig in from the right-hand side of the plate. 0-2 the count. And the 0-2 offering. Swung on and fouled at the plate. The count will hold at 0-2. Beautiful morning here in South Charleston, West Virginia. Once again, the site of this 2023 Girls State High School Softball Tournament. The 0-2 offering, that ball is once again fouled out of play. To complete the 22-23 school year, there's one more state championships after this, which will be baseball, which will be next weekend at Go-Mart Park in Charleston. Right there, June 1st, 2nd, 3rd, I believe it is. And that will wrap up the school year for 22-23. As the 0-2 is ball one, the count goes to 1-2. So Pettit ready to deliver the 1-2 to Areola. And here it comes. And swung on and missed, strike three. So that's the fourth straight batter that has struck out for Cabell Midland. And with one out.
Now batting.
And nobody aboard, Harris will now be the hitter, Nicole Harris. She hits from the left-hand side of the plate. And the pitch. That'll miss for ball one. And Rose on deck for the Cabell Midland Knights. We're in the home half of the third inning in a scoreless game. Harris checking her wristband. Now she's back in the box. Harris down 0-1 in the count. And here's the pitch. The count will even at 1-1. So 1-1 the count to Harris. Cabell Midland championship years in 95, 97, 99, 2000, 2005, and then a little bit of drought there from 2005 to their last title just a couple of years ago in 2021. John Marshall has got two state titles in girls softball in 1998 and 2012. And the pitch. Swung on, that's fouled. Count goes to 2-1. So 2-1 the count to Nicole Harris with Rose on deck. Harris steps in. Pettit is ready for John Marshall. And here comes the 2-1 pitch. It's going to be a little bunt. Nice play by the third baseman to make the play. And they get her, and she's out. Nice job by Yoho to make the play at third, to come up on the ball, scoop it, throw the ball across the diamond for the second out of the inning.
Now batting, number 26, Sabrina Rose.
So this will be the ninth hitter, and right now through the previous 8 batters of Cabell Midland, they don't have any hits. They haven't got a base runner on. So Pettit has done a good job as she's retired the first 8 that she's faced thus far, as she will pitch to Rose here with 2 out, nobody aboard here in inning number 3. And the pitch. This ball is hit foul, out of play over the Cabell Midland dugout. Count goes to 0-1 to Sabrina Rose. If Rose can keep the inning alive, it would go back to the top of the order to Purdue. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. The count goes to 0-2. So Sabrina Rose in a 0-2 hole with 2 out, nobody aboard, no score, bottom half of the third inning. And Pettit gets ready. And the 0-2, and that'll miss for the count to make it 1-2. And here comes the 1-2 offering. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So a good job by Pettis. She's retired all 9 batters she's faced to this point. And after 3 innings of play, no score between John Marshall and Cabell Midland. You're watching the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament here on Video Productions.
General Stores has been serving West Virginia communities for almost 5 decades. That's nearly 50 years of providing those essential needs for your daily journey. We are so grateful to be a small part of your lives, and we want to recognize the integral part of our operation, the LG family. We know these last couple years haven't been easy, but with every sunrise and sunset, you keep us going. To the LG family, the moms, dads, sisters, brothers, sons, and daughters of West Virginia, thank you.
Peyton Tucker.
And we welcome you back to The Rock, as they call it here at Little Creek Park in South Charleston. Sydney Mayo producing and directing here this morning of this first game. I'm Maris Lowry. And so far it's been a pitcher's duel. We've just had 1 hit as we go to the 4th inning. In fact, the pitching staff there of John Marshall, they've got Cabell Midland out 1, 2, 3 in the first 3 innings. So now with only 1 hit in the ball game, that was by John Marshall. And that was by the young lady that leads things off, Peyton Tucker. She was stranded at third, and she'll take ball 1. So Tucker got a hit, stole second, was stranded at third back in the first inning. And like I said, she's got the lone hit of the ball game. She's 1 for 1. The number 2 hitter be 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order, leading things off for John Marshall in the 4th inning. So Tucker and the pitch to her is over for a called strike, and the count evens at 1-1. Couldn't ask for a better day weather-wise. Not real hot. Got a nice little breeze. Big crowd on hand. Glad you're with us here on Video Production. This pitch is hit foul down the line, giving chase as the left fielder, and that's going to be out of play. The count will go to 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to Peyton Tucker. It'll be Tucker, Blake, and Pettit, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for John Marshall here in the top half of the 4th inning. Watts gets ready for Cabell Midland on the mound and sets to deliver the 1-2 pitch. And here it comes. And that's going to miss, even the count of 2-2. 2-2 to the John Marshall left fielder, Tucker. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. And this ball swung on. It's hit to left field. The left fielder got her played right on the line in fair territory. And that's a good job by Tatum to make the play for the first out in the top half of the 4th inning.
Now batting, number 14, Ava Blake.
So the first out of the 4th, and it'll be Blake will be the hitter. She's 0 for 1. She'll bat with 1 out, nobody aboard in the 4th. Swung on and fouled back out of play. So 0-1 the count to Blake, the John Marshall shortstop. She digs in. And the 0-1 pitch. Count evens at a ball and a strike. As I had mentioned earlier, the other 2 semifinalists in girls AAA, the defending champion Jefferson and George Washington. And that game will take place approximately 30 minutes at the conclusion of this game But at the rate this game is going, it looks like that maybe one run that might be enough. We'll see how it unfolds. The 1-1 pitch is inside, and the count goes 2-1. So 2-1 the count to Ava Blake. And here comes the pitch. And that'll miss for 3-1. It's only been one base runner, and that was John Marshall's Peyton Tucker. Single back in the first, stole second, got to third on a fly ball, but she was stranded there. And with a 3-1 count, Blake trying to become the second base runner for John Marshall. And the 3-1 pitch. That'll be a called strike. And the count goes full. Blake tried to sell it by throwing the bat and trying to make her way down first. But the one that counts said, nope. So we got a payoff pitch coming. 3-2 the count to Ava Blake. And here it comes. And now that's ball 4. So that's the second base runner of the ball game for John Marshall. A 1-out walk to Blake. And that'll get Pettit to the dish.
And now batting, number 12, Cadence Pettit.
So Pettit, 0 for 1, popped out to the shortstop back in the first inning. And she'll try to help her own cause here with a runner at first and 1 out. And takes a big cut and misses, 0-1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. This ball swung on, popped up in the infield, playable, right up under it's the third baseman Harris for Cabell Midland to make the play for the second out of the 4th inning.
And now batting, number 13, Carly Kaiser.
So Kaiser will now be the hitter. She was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd inning. 1 of 4 John Marshall players to have been out on strikes. She'll take a called strike there. So Kaiser will dig in. And Watts is ready for the 0-1. Swung on and missed. Runner attempts to steal. The ball is going to be thrown in the outfield. Runner's going to try to attempt to go to third. Here's the throw. She's going to be safe. So for the second time in 4 innings, John Marshall's going to have a runner at third with 2 outs. And the way this game's been going, obviously that's a very huge run. But now 2 strikes to the batter, Kaiser, and can she deliver? Stolen base, and they'll probably score that an error on the throw from the catcher to the outfield. So that'll be scored a E on the catcher. That's the first error of the ball game. But for the second time in this game, John Marshall has a runner at third with 2 down. And here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled back. So the count will hold at 0-2 to Kaiser. Yeah, she's trying to deliver, which would be the first run of the game if she can come up and get a hit here. And the way that both of these pitchers have been on here this morning, every run is a premium. Like I said, this is the 3rd year I've been calling these games in AAA, and, you know, very rarely did a team get 5 or 6 runs. A lot of teams were able to win these games by scoring 3 runs by having great pitching and great defense. And there's strike 3. And once again, for the second time in the game, John Marshall will strand a runner at third. Middle of the 4th inning, no score between John Marshall and Cabell Midland. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State High School Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
General Stores has been serving West Virginia communities for almost 5 decades. That's nearly 50 years of providing those essential needs for your daily journey. We are so grateful to be a small part of your lives, and we want to recognize the integral part of our operation, the LG family. We know these last couple years haven't been easy, but with every sunrise and sunset, you keep us going. To the LG family, the moms, dads, sisters, brothers, sons, and daughters of West Virginia, thank you.
I thought it was second. Okay.
Welcome back to South Charleston, West Virginia. I'm Maris Lowry, sitting in between the scorekeeper and the PA guy, just the way we like it. In the smiling face of our producer and director, Miss Sydney Mayo. Heck yeah. All right, Cabell Midland will now hit here in their portion of the fourth inning, and it's been 9 up and 9 down. They have not produced any offenses. We're back to the top of the order with Purdue, Conrad, and Wallace, the first three hitters here in the top, or rather, beg pardon, the bottom of the fourth inning. So 1-0 the count to Purdue. And that's like a half swing, and they're going to appeal it, and they're going to say she did not go around. So that will be ball 2. So here comes the 2-0 delivery to Purdue. This ball is hit to the second baseman. The second baseman will make the play, and that's 1 up, 1 down. So that's 10 in a row set down by Pettit, the young lady for John Marshall. Conrad will now be the hitter. She grounded out back in her other plate appearance. She's 0 for 1. So that's the first out of inning number 4. So Conrad will step in from the right-hand side of the plate. Pettit is ready for John Marshall. And she squares the bunt and bunts it foul, 0-1. Well, we got a minute. I want to tell you about the fine folks here that I work for at Video Productions. Support your team by advertising with Video Productions. Video Productions is West Virginia's leader in providing coverage for high school sports. And I'm very proud to be a part of the fine folks at Video Productions, covering football, girls and boys basketball, and now girls softball here this morning. So 0-1 is the count to Rebecca Conrad with 1 out, nobody aboard, bottom half of the fourth inning. This ball was hit foul down the first baseline. That ball was hit hard, but just wide of the bag and foul, as I mentioned. So 0-2 the count. Got a nice little breeze coming through here this morning. Glad you're with us streaming live here on Video Productions. We're in the bottom of the fourth inning. No score between Cabell Midland and John Marshall. Pettit is ready on the mound, and here comes the 0-2 pitch, and that's a little inside for ball 1. 1-2 the count on Conrad. Wallace to hit next for Cabell Midland. So Cabell Midland's had 10 batters and all 10 retired. Pettit has been outstanding here this morning. And the 1-2. That'll miss, and the count will even at 2-2. Pettit is ready. And here comes the 2-2 offering to Conrad. That ball was hit foul. Ball hit hard, but just not able to get out in front of it. And the ball fouled off to the right. So the count will hold at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Pettit ready to deliver. And here it comes. And that'll miss, and the count will go full. But Cabell Midland is yet to have a base runner reach. 10 have come to the dish, and 10 have been retired. And now the count has gone full to Rebecca Conrad. And here comes the payoff pitch, and that is ball 4. So there's a 1-out walk, the first base runner of the ball game for the Cabell Midland Knights.
Now batting number 20, K.K. Wallace.
So Wallace will now be the hitter. Cabell Midland has its first base runner. So after 10 were retired, Pettit walks Conrad. 1-out walk in the fourth. And let's see what Wallace will do at the dish. She grounded out to first base, her only other time at the plate. Runner goes, the throw down to second, and no, safe, as it looked like they were going to get her, but the shortstop, Blake, unable to hang on to the ball, so that's a successful stolen base. And now Cabell Midland with a runner in scoring position. And that's why I say the way these games are played, a run here or there, just a play here or there is really the difference in winning and losing these games. So here comes the pitch to Wallace. And the count will even at a ball of strike. 1 out, runner at second. Got no score in the ball game here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Class AAA between Cabell Midland of Ona, West Virginia, and John Marshall, the Monarchs from up north. And Pettit is ready. And here comes the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, fouled, and the count will go to 1-2. And Bell on deck for Cabell Midland. Conrad's at second, walked and stole second. And now Wallace at the plate in the hole at 1-2. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, that ball is sliced foul. And down the first base side. Count will hold again at 1-2 strikes. Pettit ready. Checks her wristband. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. And the count will even at 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. To Wallace. Pettit's ready. And the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, ball hit. It'll get through, a base hit. Rounding third will be Conrad. She'll come to the plate, and the first run of the ball game is scored. Taking the big turn is Wallace. They've got her in a rundown. They throw to first, and she's safe back at first with an RBI single. And Cabell Midland scores the first run of the ball game and take a 1-0 lead.
Now batting, number 8, Olivia Bell.
So the first hit of the ball game results in a run. And it's 1-0 in favor of Cabell Midland as they break through. So that walk led to a run, and now the hitter will be Bell. So 1-0 is the lead for Cabell Midland. After having their first 10 batters retired, they get a 1-out single to right, an RBI single by K.K. Wallace to score Conrad. And now it'll be Bell the hitter. Runner goes, the throw down, not in time. It gets away, but not far enough for the runner to advance. And right now, Cabell Midland being very aggressive. And that's how they got Conrad into scoring position. She stole and scored on the RBI single by Wallace. And now Wallace down to second. And just 1 out here in the fourth inning. Cabell Midland has struck first, and they take a 1-0 lead. So that ball was fouled at home plate. So 0-2 the count to Bell. And here's the pitch. Swung on, that ball is foul. That ball was hit hard, but foul down the right field line. Count will hold it 0-2. Cabell Midland with a 1-0 lead as they break through here in the fourth inning after having their first 10 hitters be retired. Then by getting a base on ball, a stolen base, and an RBI single by Wallace to give Cabell Midland a 1-0 lead. And they got Wallace at second, 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. And it's way outside for 1-2 the count now. So as I mentioned, it's just a play here or there is what's separated, all of these teams. And over the years that I have called these Class AAA girls softball tournament games. There's time being called. But a beautiful morning here in South Charleston, West Virginia. A little creek park at the Rock, as they call it. Fields are turfed. Beautiful facility. And pitches outside for a ball, counts 2-2. Got a game going on to our left and one back up the hill. So a lot of excitement and a lot of softball fans out here in South Charleston this morning. Glad you're with us watching wherever you're watching from on Video Productions. So the count is 2-2 to Bell as Tatum waits to hit next. And the 2-2 pitch, that ball is foul tip, but the catcher doesn't hang on to it, so Bell stays alive. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out and a run in here in the bottom of the fourth for Cabell Midland. Each team with 1 hit, but the Cabell Midland hit was a big hit. Drove in a run, and now the count will go full to Bell at 3-2. So Pettit, after being really great, who retired the first 10, she's had a little control problem here in the fourth inning, and that's what led to the Cabell Midland Knights run with a walk, and then a stolen base, and then an RBI single she gave up. So here comes a payoff pitch to Bell. Big play in the ball game. Swung on, fouled back. Because the one thing, the way these games go, and like I said, runs are really at a premium. A lot of teams over the years will win these games by scoring 2, 3, 4 runs. If you get too far behind, you just give up a couple of runs. Sometimes that's really hard to overcome the way all these young ladies can pitch. And the good pitching has shut down some really good hitting over the years in this girls' state softball tournament. So here comes the payoff pitch to Bell. This ball's hit down the right field line. It's up over the head of the right fielder. That'll make it to the wall. That'll get another run in. Rounding second is Bell, going for a triple, and she'll have a stand-up triple and a big RBI triple at that, and it's 2-0 Cabell Midland.
Now batting, number 22, Maggie Tatum.
The payoff pitch, and Bell goes the other way to right field, and a triple. RBI triple, and it's now 2-0, and they'll now have a courtesy runner, I do believe. Or no, it'll be still Bell out there. As there's time right now as they're talking now to Tatum will be the hitter. Maggie Tatum, 0 for 1, a strikeout victim back in the second. But Cabell Midland, with a couple of big hits, have pushed across 2 runs to this point, with only 1 out in the fourth, and Cabell Midland in front 2-0. Tatum the hitter. And the pitch. Ball 1. So Bell, the base runner at third, coming off that big opposite field triple over the right fielder's head. And 2 have crossed the dish for Cabell Midland here in the home half of the fourth. Ball swung on and fouled at the plate. Count will even at 1-1. So after Purdue and grounded out to second, Conrad drew a walk, stole second, scored on an RBI single by Wallace, and then Wallace stole second, and then a big RBI triple by Bell has given Cabell Midland a 2-0 lead. Here comes the 1-1. Swung on and missed. The count goes to 1-2 to Tatum. Hale will be the hitter next for Cabell Midland, as it's been a 2-run fourth inning for the Knights. Cabell Midland entered the ball game at 21-5. John Marshall, 27-4. And the pitch. That's going to miss. The count will go to 2 balls and 2 strikes to Maggie Tatum, the Cabell Midland left fielder. John Marshall had been really hot, obviously at 27-4, but they won 16 of 19 as they interplayed here this morning. And here comes the 2-2 to Tatum. Swung on, and the catcher does not hang on, so it's not a strikeout. Tatum's still alive. She got a little piece of it, and England not able to bring it in. So the count will hold at 2-2. Bell the runner at third. 2-0 the lead for Cabell Midland here in the home half of the 4th inning. Pettit's ready. She was cruising along to this inning and swung on and missed strike 3, and that's the second out of the inning. So Tatum strikes out for the second time,
Now batting, number 3,
and that's 2 down. And it'll be Hale will be the hitter. She was a strikeout victim back in the second inning, 0 for 1. But yeah, Pettit had retired the first 10 batters she had faced. But that base on ball kind of did her in, and she's given up a couple of hits here in this inning. Swung on and missed. 0-1 the count to Hale. 2 runs, 2 hits. There has been 1 error in this inning for John Marshall. And here comes the 0-1 delivery. And that's a little outside. Looked like there for a minute Hale was squaring to bunt. The count's 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Destiny Hale. If she can keep things alive, Areola would hit next. And the 1-1 pitch. Count goes to 2-1. RBI single by Wallace and an RBI triple by Bell. They have plated 2 for Cabell Midland here in the 4th inning. Pitch will miss, and the count will go to 2-1. I beg your pardon, 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Got the scorekeeper right here beside me to keep me in line. I couldn't do it without him. And the 3-1 pitch. Swung on this, a little dribble to the third baseman. This might be a tough play. Throw across the diamond is in time, but damage is done. Cabell Midland get a couple runs on a couple of hits. There's 1 left, and there was an error by John Marshall, and we played 4 innings of play. It's Cabell Midland 2, John Marshall nothing. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls High School Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
You wear it every day, so let's make your smile a priority. Dr. Joey Atkins and the friendly staff at Elk Family Dentistry are here to help you have a smile you can be proud of. Dr. Atkins treats patients of all ages for preventative and cosmetic dentistry. Make your appointment today by calling 304-965-6661. Elk Family Dentistry, making your life better with a beautiful smile.
I couldn't do it without you. And we welcome you back in to South Charleston, West Virginia. As we go to the top of the 5th inning, Cabell Midland with a 2-run lead, and we'll give you the line scores unofficially here in just a second, as leading things off will be Ward for John Marshall, and that'll be ball 1. We're in the top of the 5th inning, 2-0 Cabell Midland. The unofficial line score is Cabell Midland 2 runs, 2 hits, and no errors. John Marshall, no runs, a hit, and 1 error. And your line score brought to you by the Family Dentistry at the Elk Family Dentistry, proud supporters of the 2023 West Virginia High School Softball Championships. Elk Family Dentistry specializes in family and domestic cosmetic dentistry. Make your appointment today as this ball is hit to left field. Going back to the left fielder. She can't get it in. That'll be an error, and that'll be a big error as that ball was dropped by the Cabell Midland left fielder Tatum. And John Marshall will have the leadoff runner aboard at second base.
24, Carly Yoho.
So Yoho will now be the hitter as Cabell Midland commits its first error of the ball game. But I was telling you about the fine folks at Elk Family Dentistry. For an appointment, you can call them at 304-965-6661. So that's a big play in the ball game here in the top of the fifth inning, and something that if you are John Marshall, you desperately needed. That was a base runner, and they get it via the error route, as that ball should have been caught by Tatum, and she had it in her glove, and it popped out. So a two-base error, and this next pitch is ball 2 to Yoho. Yoho popped out the second, 0 for 1, her other time at the dish. And now Cabell Midland going to have a little conference at the mound. So after Cabell Midland had scored 2 runs in the bottom half of the fourth inning to take a 2-0 lead, John Marshall trying to gain some of the momentum back, as they had the momentum with their pitcher Pettit, who retired the first 10 batters before Cabell Midland able to come up with a base on ball and a couple of big hits to take the 2-0 lead. And the leadoff hitter Ward hit one to left field, and the left fielder Tatum not able to bring it in for a 2-base error. So a runner at second and nobody out. And 2 balls and no strikes to Carly Yoho. And here comes the pitch. And that'll go to 3-0. So all it takes is sometimes one little play like that to kind of maybe switch the momentum, which Cabell Midland had by pushing their 2 runs across in the bottom half of the fourth. And now there's ball 4, and now the first 2 batters have reached for John Marshall. 1 on an error and now 1 on a base on ball. Runners at first and second and nobody out. White will be the hitter. She was a strikeout victim back in the 3rd inning. So let's see if White will try to maybe try to move the runners over, sacrifice, trading out to advance them. We'll see what they do. White is the number 8 hitter in the lineup, and she is squaring to bunt. She does lay it down. A beautiful bunt, only plays first. The sacrifice works well, and a great job by White to advance the runner. So now John Marshall has both runners now in scoring position, and a base hit should tie the game. So sacrifice bunt, the first out of the inning, and now Cumberledge will now be the hitter. So as they say, ducks are on the pond with runners at 3rd and 2nd and 1 out. And John Marshall with the chance to try to cut into the lead or draw even, and there's no pitch on that. There's time being called prior to the pitch. So I'm not sure exactly what the situation was there, or why they stopped Watts right in the middle of her windup. But here's a golden opportunity for John Marshall to get themselves back in the game, trailing by 2 here in the top of the 5th inning. And the pitch. Swung on. This ball is hit to center field. Center field was playing in. That's going to be over her head. That's going to plate 2. It's off the wall. 1 run in. Here comes the potential tying run, and they do tie the ball game. A huge double by Cumberledge, and we're all even at 2. How about that?
Now batting number 8, Mason Inkling.
So this inning, you cannot give these teams extra outs. And as Cabell Midland had walked a runner or John Marshall walked a runner to allow Cabell Midland to get their rally going. Now an error by Cabell Midland, and John Marshall with a big 2-run double by Alexis Cumberledge, and the game is even at 2 here in the top half of inning number 5. So the momentum has quickly switched. And we'll now go back to the top of the order and Inkland will be the hitter. 0 for 2, grounded out to third in the first, and flied out to left in the third. So John Marshall with a go-ahead run in scoring position and only one out. And that strategy worked out. And a beautiful bunt by Kaylee White. Sacrifice and runs over. And then Crumble Ridge delivered. This ball's popped up, and it's going to be in the play of field, and it's caught by the first baseman, Bell, for the second out. So Inkland is out on a pop-up. And with 2 down and the potential go-ahead runner in scoring position down at second, it'll be Tucker. Tucker's got a hit for John Marshall, one of the 2 hits that they've gotten in the ball game. One of the 3 hits. Or is it 2 hits? I beg your pardon, 2 hits. So Tucker will hit with 2 outs. Game tied at 2 as John Marshall pushes 2 across here in the top half of the 5th. And here's the pitch to Tucker. Swung on. This ball is popped up. Will the catcher get it? She will, and that will end the inning. But not before John Marshall, after giving up 2 in the bottom of the 4th, they come back and tie the game by getting 2 in the 5th. Middle of the 5th inning, we're all even at 2 apiece between Cabell Midland and John Marshall. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament on Video Productions. And we go to the home half of inning number 5. We're all even at 2 apiece. The line score exactly the same, a 2, 2, and 1 for each team. As John Marshall able to put a 2 spot here in the top of the 5th inning to equal the 2 spot that Cabell Midland put in the bottom of the 4th. As we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning in a tie game at 2-2. And leading things off for the Cabell Midland Knights will be Areola. It'll be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up for Cabell Midland here in the bottom half of inning number 5 in a 2-2 game. So 0-1 the count to Areola. Patted set. And the 0-1 delivery. And that ball is hit foul down the first baseline, and the count will go to 0-2. So Cabell Midland scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th. And John Marshall comes back and matches them with 2 runs in the top of the 5th. And that's where we are now here in the bottom of the 5th in a 2-2 game. But it had been a great pitching duel up until these last 2 half innings. And then a mistake here or there, and then a couple of big hits. And that's why we've got a tie ball game. Got a little stoppage in the play right now. Not sure what that's about, is one of the coaches for John Marshall visiting the mound, talking to the pitcher, Pettit. So Areola, Harris, and Rose, the 7th, 8th, and 9th hitters. And whatever the umpire related to the scorekeeper, I hope she understood that, because I didn't understand anything in which he said. So maybe they have mound visits in softball. That might be what it is. But the count's 0-2 to Areola, and here comes the 0-2 pitch, and this ball swung on, and it's hit right to the shortstop, and Blake right there to make the catch for the first out of the Cabell Midland 5th inning.
Now batting, 0-0, Nicole Harris.
So Harris will be the hitter. She's 0 for 1. She grounded out to the third baseman back in the third inning. And she'll bat with 1 out, nobody aboard in a tie game here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Yoho in at third. She made the play the last time that Harris hit, and Harris going that way again, only foul down the line. Count goes to 0-1. But you can tell definitely that John Marshall's done their homework, because they have the third baseman, Yoho, played perfectly. And the last time and the only other time Harris was at the plate, she went the other way, and Yoho there to make the play. And that time she hit the ball down the third base line but foul. So 0-1 the count. And here's the 0-1 delivery. And this ball swung right to Yoho. Same spot, had her play perfectly, but the throw takes her off the bag, and that'll be an error. That'll be a big error, because Yoho was in the right spot, made the play, but the throw across the diamond will pull the first baseman off the bag, and that's a huge play. And that'll be an error on the third baseman on Yoho, and that'll be the second error of the ball game now on John Marshall. So Sabrina Rose will now be the hitter for Cabell Midland, and she'll hit with 1 on and 1 out. And she squares to bunt. She misses. The runner goes down. The throw got her. As John Marshall throws out the runner, so caught stealing is Harris for the second out of the inning. So they tried to bunt, and they put Harris in motion to steal. She's caught stealing. That erases her, so 2 out, nobody on. And the number 9 hitter, Rose, is in the hole at 0-1. And the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled at the plate. The count's 0-2. If Rose can keep the inning alive, we'll go back to the top of the order to Purdue. Each team with a couple of runs, each team with 2 hits. John Marshall has committed 2 errors, Cabell Midland 1. And here's the 0-2 to Rose. And that's called strike 3, and that will end the inning. So we have played 5 complete innings here this 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament. We're tied at 2 between John Marshall and Cabell Midland. Glad you're enjoying the coverage. Streaming live here on Video Productions.
It's good to have options when you're choosing health coverage for yourself, for your family.
No matter what it is you need, you'll find it at your local Par-Mar store. From gas to groceries, snacks, and everything else you always seem to run out of, Par-Mar stores has it. Need more savings? Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. You won't only see our stores in your neighborhoods, you'll see us in your neighborhoods too. We are proud to be in your town and proud to be a part of the community. Come see us at Par-Mar stores, and remember, if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
And we're going to the 6th inning, game tied at 2. This first pitch is swung on. It's a fly ball to center field. The center fielder got a play on it and squeezes it for the first out of the 6th inning. So a 1 pitch and 1 out. And coming now to the dish will be Blake.
Now batting, number 13, Cadence Pettit.
I beg your pardon, that was Blake that flied out. So this ball's hit foul, count 0-1, as Pettit is now the hitter. So Pettit's 0 for 2. She popped out to the shortstop in the first, and then popped out to the third baseman back in the fourth. This ball swung on, hit down the left field line, curving foul, and it is foul back out of play. A long strike, and the count goes to 0-2. And the 0-2 delivery, swung on and missed, strike 3. So 2 up, 2 down. And Kaiser will now be the hitter.
Now batting, number 13, Carly Kaiser.
Kaiser is a strikeout victim in each of her plate appearances. Struck out in the second and struck out in the fourth. So Kaiser will hit with 2 out, nobody aboard here in the top of the 6th inning in a 2-2 game. And fouls the first pitch back at 0-1. When we're done with this one, 30 minutes after this, we'll bring you the next game, which will be Jefferson, the defending champion, and George Washington. That'll take, like I said, approximately 30 minutes at the conclusion of this game. There's a swing and a miss. Count goes to 0-2 to Kaiser. Kaiser can keep it alive. It would be Ward would hit next. Cabell Midland got 2 in the bottom of the 4th. John Marshall got 2 in the top of the 5th. And we're in the 6th, all even at 2 as that pitch is fouled back. And the 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3, and that will be the end of the 6th inning. 3 up, 3 down for John Marshall. The middle of the 6th, we're tied at 2 as we're streaming live the 2023 Girls Softball Tournament here on Video Productions.
Little General Stores has been serving West Virginia communities for almost 5 decades. That's nearly 50 years of providing those essential needs for your daily journey. 18,250 days of fueling and feeding. We are so grateful to be a small part of your lives, and we want to recognize the integral part of our operation, the LG family. The managers who open early and close late. The cashiers who always have a smile. The bakers, sandwich artists, and cooks who keep our cravings at bay. The maintenance crew who work hard to fix problems as they arise. We know these last couple years haven't been easy, but with every sunrise and sunset, you keep us going. To the LG family, the moms, dads, sisters, brothers, sons, and daughters of West Virginia, thank you.
We're going to the bottom half of the 6th inning, and this game tied at 2 between John Marshall and Cabell Midland, the first game of this 2023 Girls Class AAA State Softball Tournament. I'm Maris Lowry. Glad you're with us here at the Rock, as they call it here at Little Creek Park in South Charleston. Producing and directing here this morning.
Now batting,
Sydney Mayo doing a fantastic job as always. So here's Cabell Midland as they come to hit here in the home half of the 6th inning. And it is Purdue, and she squares to bunt, And she misses for a called strike, or I guess you could take that as she swung at it. She did attempt to try to lay the bunt down. So 0-1 the count to Purdue. Purdue 0 for 2 thus far. The count evens at 1-1. Purdue grounded out to the third baseman in the first inning, grounded out to the second baseman in the fourth. 2-2 matchup here in the tied up here rather than this matchup here in the home half of inning number 6. Ball is chopped foul at the plate, and the count goes to 1-2. So this is the top of the order for Cabell Midland: Purdue, Conrad, and Wallace. Cabell Midland scored 2 in the fourth, and John Marshall tied it up with 2 in the top of the fifth inning. 1-2 the count. And here comes the pitch. And that's swung on and missed, strike 3. So Purdue retired for the third time here this morning.
Now batting number 28, Becca Conrad.
And Conrad will now be the hitter for Cabell Midland. 0 for 1, drew a walk, grounded out to second the first. She drew a base on ball, stole second, and scored on an RBI single by Wallace. One of the 2 runs for Cabell Midland in that bottom of the fourth inning. She hits from the right-hand side of the plate. And ball 1. Conrad checks her wristband. Now she steps in.
Is this everybody's, all your players? Okay, cool deal. Coaches on here too? Oh,
And the pitch. Swung on a comebacker right to Pettit. Pettit able to flip over to the first baseman for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 down. And that'll bring Wallace to the dish. Wallace had an RBI single and scored a run in that fourth inning. So Wallace will hit with 2 out. And the pitch swung on, that's fouled out of play over the first base dugout. So 0-1 the count to Wallace. Pettit's ready. She checks her wristband. And the pitch. That'll miss to even the count at 1-1. Bottom half of the sixth inning in a 2-2 game. And that pitch will miss as well. It'll be 2-1. 2-1 the count to Wallace. If Wallace can keep the inning alive, it'll be Olivia Bell next. And Bell had a big RBI triple back in that 2-run fourth inning for Cabell Midland. And the pitch. Swung on, the ball's hit to the shortstop. Nice play across the diamond for the out, and that ends the inning. That's a nice play that time by Blake. So after 6 complete innings of play, the game tied up at 2 between John Marshall and Cabell Midland. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament on Video Productions.
Hey, I'm Heather, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is getting the perfect bite. It's probably not the first bite, it's the second or the third, with the juicy chicken and the delicious pickle. The bite with the pickle is it. I mean, that is like the magic combination.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is the combination of the warm, soft bun against this delicious piece of chicken. The bun is just this soft little hug around the chicken that's so perfect in every bite.
Reese Ward.
And we head to the 7th inning in a tight game as we were all even at 2 apiece here in the top half of the 7th inning of a scheduled 7-inning game between Cabell Midland and John Marshall. So there's a big cut and a swing and a miss by Ward as Ward leads things off. It'll be the 6, 7, and 8 hitter. Ward, Yoho, and White due up here in the top of the 7th inning for John Marshall. Ward's 0 for 2, struck out, reached on an error, and scored one of the 2 runs. And she'll take for another called strike there, and the count's 0-2. Support your team by advertising with Video Productions. Video Productions is West Virginia's leader in providing coverage for high school sports. Glad to be a part of the girls and boys state basketball tournament, girls softball here, also coverage of football season. There's a ball for the count 1-2 to Ward. So in the top of the 7th, a 2-2 game. Cabell Midland got 2 in the 4th. John Marshall 2 in the top of the 5th. We're in the top of the 7th inning now, and the game remains tied at 2. Swung on, this ball is hit. It's going to be fair down the line. It's going to get all the way to the corner, and that's going to be extra bases. Rounding the big second, taking the big turn at second, going for third. She's safe. A leadoff triple to start the 7th inning. So a triple by Ward. As she hit that one down the left field line, and she was able to slide in under the throw, and a huge leadoff hit for John Marshall. That is the 3rd hit of the ball game for the Monarchs, and one that's really huge with a leadoff triple. So Cabell Midland having a conference at the mound, and now the umpire going out to break it up. But a great job by Ward to lead things off with a triple down the left field line, and now with nobody out. And the potential go-ahead run down at third, it'll be Yoho will be the hitter. As she comes to the dish. The infield will come in trying to cut the run off at the plate. And there's a called strike. So Yoho is 0 for 1, popped out the second, drew a base on ball and scored a run. And that pitch will miss, and the count will even at 1-1. Ward represents the go-ahead run down at third with nobody out here in the top of the 7th in a 2-2 game. Ward led off the inning with a triple. This pitch will miss, and the count will go to 2-1. So 2-1 the count on Carly Yoho. And the pitch. Swung on, that's hit to the shortstop. Play at the plate, and she is safe. No, they called her out. I beg your pardon. The ball came out. I beg your pardon. I called her safe because the ball popped out. The umpire called her out. And now let's see what we're going to have. We're going to have a conference. But the ball definitely came out, and we're right on top of the play. And nor am I trying to be the umpire, but it looked like that she was safe because the ball came out. The umpire initially called her out, so we're waiting to see if the call will stand. But Cabell Midland had the infield in trying to cut the run off at the plate, and it was a good throw. And we're waiting to see if the call of out will hold up or if they'll change it because the catcher of Cabell Midland definitely dropped the ball there. So this obviously is a very huge call in this game as they brought the ball home, and let's see what the call is going to be. Still don't have an indication. But John Marshall is acting perhaps as if they have the lead. They don't know yet. There's still a conversation between Cabell Midland coach and the home plate umpire, but no indication has been given to us yet as what the call is. And umpire, I guess, is going to be out. That was his initial call. He never made the call. So we'll go with out since that was his initial call. The umpire is not letting anyone know. So the initial call, I suppose, is out. There's a attempted bunt as the runner is safe at first on the fielder's choice.
They're driving me crazy.
Why would they not give us
And White will now be the hitter.
They're not telling us anything.
So as of now, we're going to say that that run does not score and she is out. There's a sacrifice bunt, the throw down to first, and she's back.
Umpire.
So 0-2 is the count.
I think she was safe.
God, she was safe.
And here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swung on. It's a comebacker right to the mound. They'll go to first for the out there. They throw back to second. The runner's safe. So White is retired.
Umpire, we don't. Was she safe? Was she out? Okay, we just didn't know.
Okay, so now the umpire's saying she's safe. He took his time on calling her safe because we're all in agreement at the press box that she was safe after he initially called her out. So now we can put the run up and make it 3-2 in favor of John Marshall. That was very confusing right there to be that big of a call and the umpire not really be really clear on that. So Cumberridge is now the hitter. And she had a big double back in the fifth inning. So John Marshall has broken through, and they have taken their first lead of the ball game. They lead 3-2. There's a little tapper to the third baseman. Third baseman will make the throw across the diamond for the out. So that's only the second out because the runner at the plate was safe after that leadoff triple by Ward, and now she scores.
Now batting number 8, Mason Inkland.
So there's a runner at third. And that runner is Yoho. And there are 2 outs. And Inkland will now be the hitter. But John Marshall has got to run as they push it across here in the top of the 7th. And, the catcher dropped the ball. Of course, it's a tough play. It's a bang-bang play. And I initially thought, and I said safe on the call, and I initially thought she was safe anyway, but definitely when the ball popped out, obviously she was safe. But the umpire called her out, and then after a conference, even though he overruled it and said safe, he didn't say that till after a couple of batters. But nevertheless, the right call was made, and it's a 3-2 one-run lead for John Marshall here in the top half of the 7th inning. So looking ahead for Cabell Midland, they'll have the heart of their lineup in the bottom of the 7th. They'll have 4, 5, and 6 due up. But John Marshall's not done yet. They've got a big runner out there on third trying to give him a 2-run advantage. And ball 1 the count to Inkland. Inkland's grounded out to grounded out in the first to third. Popped out to left field and popped out to first base. She's 0 for 3. And this ball's chopped. Tough play for the shortstop. Will they make the play? Yes, to get out of the inning. But John Marshall's able to push 1 run across the plate. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. John Marshall 3 outs away from advancing. It's John Marshall 3, Cabell Midland 2. Glad you're watching live streaming coverage of the girls' high school softball tournament on Video Productions.
Hi, I'm Heather, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is getting the perfect bite. It's probably not the first bite, it's the second or the third, with the juicy chicken and the delicious pickle. The bite with the pickle is it. That is like the magic combination.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is the combination of the warm, soft bun against this delicious piece of chicken. The bun is just this soft little hug around the chicken that's so perfect in every bite.
Right, he didn't do it right as good as his calls on the field were that
when you're trying to figure out that, if you get messed up on everything else,
I think she was safe even if she didn't drop the ball.
Safe.
Yeah, but even if
George Washington.
Farmers and Mechanics Insurance knows West Virginia, and we understand how much all of our high school teams and athletes mean to the communities that we have served for more than 100 years. That's why we're proud of our partnership with the West Virginia SSAC. Their commitment to teach and promote sportsmanship and citizenship is the key to future success. protecting what matters most to you. Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies, a proud partner of the West Virginia SSAC.
And we're ready to go to the bottom of the 7th inning. John Marshall with a 1-run lead at 3-2. And John Marshall 3 outs away from getting this first win and advancing here in this 2023 Girls State High School Softball Tournament. And it'll be Bell, Tatum, and Hale due up. 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the lineup. And this pitch is swung on. It's hit down the right field line, going over in foul ground. The right fielder can't make the play. That was a real difficult play. The ball kept tailoring toward foul ground, and it is a foul ball. It's going the other way. That time was Olivia Bell. Bell came up with a big triple, an RBI triple back in the 4th inning. So that's just a long strike as Bell sends it foul down the right field line. So Bell, who struck out in the 2nd, and as I mentioned, had that RBI triple in the 4th, 1 for 2, leads things off in the bottom of the 7th. 0-1 the count. John Marshall leading the ball game 3-2. And here comes the 0-1 delivery. And that will miss, and the count will even at 1-1. So it'll be Bell, Tatum, and Hale. 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the Cabell Midland lineup here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Of what has really been a very good and, for the most part, a really well-played game. And here comes the 1-1. And that will miss. The count will go 2-1. So Olivia Bell at the plate, 2-1 the count. Cabell Midland needs a run to tie and 2 to win. John Marshall needs to get 3 outs to secure the win. This ball's fouled back. Not that it can't be done, but how difficult it is if you lose this first game and you go into that loser's bracket. And then you have to win, you've got to win 3 straight games. Yep, you got to win, 3 straight games. Yeah, 4 games. Makes it really difficult. Not like I said, not that it can't be done. There's a big cut and a miss for the first out of the 7th inning. For the second time, Bell out on strikes.
Now batting number 22.
So 1 out, nobody aboard. And Tatum will now be the hitter. She's 0 for 2, struck out in the 2nd and struck out in the 4th. Tatum, the Cabell Midland left fielder. And Pettit ready, and the pitch. Swung on. That's a comebacker. Pettit couldn't get it, but right to the second baseman, and they flip over to first for the out. That was a nice job by White as that ball got by Pettit. So Cabell Midland down to their final out.
Now batting number 3, Destiny Hale.
So Hale will be the hitter. She was a strikeout victim in the 2nd and grounded out to the 3rd baseman in the 4th. So she's 0 for 2. So John Marshall is 1 out away from advancing. The next game will be 30 minutes at the approximately 30 minutes at the conclusion of this game. It looked like they're checking on Pettit. Maybe when she tried to field that ball, she slipped a little bit. This is artificial turf. So they're out there. They got a little slick there. She's not able to make the play. But anyway, as I mentioned, 30 minutes at the conclusion of this game, approximately thereabouts, it'll be Jefferson against George Washington. So Cabell Midland down to the final out. And that'll be Hale, the hitter, here in the top of the, or rather the bottom of the 7th inning with John Marshall leading 3-2. John Marshall is rallying from being down 2-0. As the first pitch there misses. Cabell Midland got 2 in the 4th, but John Marshall answered with 2 of their own in the 5th. And the go-ahead run in the top half of this 7th inning. We're in the bottom of the 7th. 1-0 the count to Hale. Pettit ready, and the 1-0. That will miss for 2-0. For Cabell Midland, you just want to get on any way you can to put the tying run on and the potential winning run to the plate. And here comes the delivery. Swung on and missed. The count goes to 2-1. So 2-1 to Hale. And the 2-1 offering. Swung on. This ball's hit to the third baseman. This could do it. They throw the ball across the diamond, and that will retire the side, and the ball game is over, and John Marshall will come from behind to win the ball game and go into the winner's bracket. Your final score is John Marshall 3, Cabell Midland 2. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap this one up. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2023 Girls State Softball Tournament here on Video Productions. We welcome you back to Little Creek Park at the Rock here in South Charleston, West Virginia. I'm Maris Lowry, and the Game 1 of Class AAA is in the books. Your final score, John Marshall has defeated Cabell Midland by the score of 3-2, as Cabell Midland scored 2 in the bottom of the fourth to go up 2-0. John Marshall tied it with 2 in the fifth, and then John Marshall puts the potential winning run across the plate in the top of the seventh, as they had a big leadoff triple in that top of the seventh inning by Reese Ward, and then she's able to score on a bang-bang play at the plate, and John Marshall wins the game 3-2. Unofficial line scores was John Marshall 3 runs, 3 hits, 2 errors. Cabell Midland 2 runs, 2 hits, and 2 errors. So John Marshall will advance to the winner's bracket, and that will put into the loser's bracket, which will be Cabell Midland. So we're going to sign off here, and then in approximately 30 minutes, we'll have the next game between George Washington and Jefferson. Once again, final score, it is John Marshall beating Cabell Midland by the score of 3-2. For our producer and our director, Sydney Mayo, I'm Maris Lowry. We'll see you in about 30 minutes.